Good evening. I'm so glad you're here, arriving at this quiet moment at the end of a long, full day. Maybe your mind is still moving quickly, replaying conversations, unfinished tasks, or little worries that never quite found a place to rest. Maybe your body feels a little heavy, not just from hours of work, but from carrying so many invisible things. Tonight, you don't have to carry any of it alone. For the next while, you don't need to solve anything, fix anything, or figure anything out. This is your time to simply be here, exactly as you are. Listening to a soft story that asks nothing of you, except that you allow yourself to unwind. So, if it feels comfortable, let your shoulders lower just a little, as if someone gently unhooked a weight from the back of your neck. Let your jaw rest. Let your tongue soften. And let the space between your eyebrows smooth out slowly, like ripples fading on a calm lake. Let your breath slow, your thoughts soften, and your body grow light as if gravity has loosened its grip. You don't have to breathe in any special way. Just notice the air coming in and flowing out, unhurried, quiet, constant. With every exhale, imagine a thin layer of tension leaving you, like fine dust slipping from your skin and dissolving into the dark, safe air of the room. If your eyes are still open, you can allow them to close whenever you wish. There is nothing you need to see right now. The world outside can wait. This moment belongs entirely to you. Before we drift deeper into tonight's gentle journey, remember to subscribe to Stellar Sleep Story. Here, you'll always find peaceful stories that soothe the heart and quiet the mind. Where are you listening from tonight? Leave a comment. Your presence adds warmth to this quiet corner of the night. Now, as the room settles around you, I'd like you to imagine that the day behind you is slowly dimming, like the last colors of sunset softening into twilight. The emails, the errands, the traffic, the deadlines, all of it is quietly folding itself away, like pages of a book closing for the night. You're safe here. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to let go. If a thought comes wandering in, a fragment of something left undone, a memory from earlier, or even a small worry about tomorrow, you don't need to push it away. Just notice it, as if you were watching a tiny boat drifting across a wide, still lake. You can watch it come closer and then slowly drift away again, leaving the water smooth and untouched. When was the last time you looked up at the night sky and felt at peace? Maybe you can remember a particular night. Perhaps you were standing in your backyard, or on a quiet balcony, or beside a window in a house that finally fell silent. Maybe it was years ago, or maybe just last week. The air was a little cooler than the daytime. The noise of the world seemed far away. And above you, the sky stretched open, deep, dark, endless, sprinkled with tiny points of light. You might have felt small, but not in a frightening way. More like being gently held inside something vast and patient. The stars did not rush. They did not demand. They simply shone in their own unhurried rhythm, as they had for millions of years before you were born, and will continue to shine long after tonight fades into memory. Tonight's story is woven from that quiet feeling. We're going to drift together, not through a noisy, dangerous universe full of explosions and storms, but through a softer, gentler vision of the cosmos, a universe seen through the eyes of someone who is ready to rest. We'll move slowly, one sleepy image at a time, gliding past familiar planets and hidden oceans of ice and shadow, visiting places that exist in the real language of science, but wrapped here in the calm warmth of a bedtime story. You don't have to remember any details. There will be no test at the end, no quiz, no tasks waiting for you when the journey is over. The facts in this story are like small lanterns, glowing softly for a moment, and then fading into the background, leaving behind only a feeling of quiet wonder. As you lie here, imagine that the edges of your body are becoming softer, as if the border between you and the air around you is blurring. Your arms rest more heavily. Your legs sink deeper into the surface that holds you. The back of your head feels supported, cradled by pillows, by blankets, by the safety of this still moment. With every breath, you drift a little further away from the noise of the world and a little closer to the gentle hum of the universe. Perhaps you can picture your room from above, as if you were a bird gliding silently over your rooftop. There you are, a small resting figure in a soft pool of darkness and quiet. Around your home, there are streets and buildings, sleeping pets and dim windows. Beyond your city, there are rivers and forests, mountain ranges and coastlines, all lying beneath the same vast sky. And above it all, the night stretches upward, layer upon layer. Thin clouds drift slowly. Higher still, the atmosphere fades into the fragile edge of space. And beyond that, far past the blue veil of Earth's sky, the familiar planets of our solar system circle in their patient paths, guided by a gravity so steady and gentle you could almost mistake it for a lullaby. In a few moments, we'll begin to float toward that quiet, star-hung space. But there is no rush. You have all the time you need. As you listen, if you find your mind wandering away from the story and into dreams, that is perfectly all right. The story will continue to flow softly beneath your thoughts, like a slow river under thin ice, carrying you wherever you need to go. For now, let yourself imagine that the bed you're lying on is becoming just a little lighter. Not enough to startle you, just enough that you can sense a gentle looseness, as if a tiny part of you is beginning to float. Your body still rests, safe and supported, but your attention, your quiet inner self, begins to rise like mist from the surface of a still lake at dawn. You drift to the ceiling and then through it without resistance, like light passing through a window. You see the rooftop, the nearby trees, the streetlights glowing softly. You rise higher, watching the city shrink into a patchwork of tiny lights and gentle shadows. The world that felt so large and heavy only hours ago now appears soft and small, held within the tender curve of the planet. Higher and higher you go, rising through invisible layers of air until the blue of the sky deepens into a velvety indigo. The last traces of the atmosphere pull away like a curtain, and you find yourself resting at the edge of space, where the earth glows below you like a sleeping lantern. Here, there is no rush. Here, there is no schedule. Here, there is only the slow turning of a planet and the distant, patient shine of the stars. As you hover in this quiet place between Earth and the wider universe, your breath continues its easy rhythm, in and out, in and out. Each inhale gathers a little more peace. Each exhale releases something you no longer need to hold. You are not lost. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be, on the threshold of a gentle journey through a calm, starlit solar system. A journey that will ask nothing of you except that you rest and listen, and when you are ready, drift into sleep. And so, we begin. Out here, at the quiet edge of space where you hover just above the sleeping Earth, the universe is not a storm of noise and violence. It is a slow, patient ballet, a soft turning of worlds in an ocean of darkness that feels more like velvet than a void. You notice first how peaceful it is. There is no wind tugging at your clothes, no hum of traffic, no distant voices. There is only silence and the steady rhythm of your own breath, like a faint tide rising and falling in a sheltered bay. In this silence, your thoughts no longer feel loud. They are simply clouds passing by, coming into view and fading again, while you drift in a wide, calm sky. As you rest above the curve of the Earth, you feel lighter still, as if the last threads binding you to the weight of the day are gently untying themselves. Your body remains far below, resting safely, but your awareness floats free, clear, and unburdened. With your next soft exhale, imagine yourself becoming even lighter, like a speck of stardust. You do not fly or rush. You simply begin to drift, as though a gentle current in the darkness has started to carry you forward. You begin to float quietly through space in soft spirals, rising away from the Earth and gliding along the invisible paths traced by gravity. There's no sensation of speed, no lurch or pull, only the feeling of being perfectly supported, as if the universe itself has cupped you in its vast, steady hands. Below you, the Earth turns slowly, a blue and white lantern wrapped in thin whirls of clouds. You see no borders, no divisions, only oceans breathing against the continents, and faint clusters of golden city lights glowing through the night like embers in a great, sleeping hearth. As you drift farther, the glow of the sun reaches you not as a harsh blaze, but as a soft, distant warmth. You're not close enough to feel its heat, only to see it as a comforting star, bright, gentle, constant. Around it, the planets move on their long, graceful orbits, like lanterns hanging from invisible threads. You are not a visitor crashing in from outside. You are part of this quiet family of worlds, moving with them, unhurried, peaceful. You notice Mercury first, small and close to the sun's golden light. From here, you don't see it as a hot, harsh place, but as a little stone, worn smooth by ages. On its sunlit side, the surface gleams softly. On the side turned away from the light, the craters are filled with shadow, deep and still. In those permanent pockets of darkness near its poles, ice has been preserved for millions of years, shielded from the sun's brightness, a quiet storehouse of frozen water, sleeping undisturbed in the planet's hidden corners. There is something comforting about that idea. Even so near to the sun, where daylight is fierce, there are secret places of coolness and rest, safe hollows where fragile things can endure. You glide past Mercury without effort, carried by that same gentle current. Ahead of you, Venus glows like a soft, pale ember, wrapped in thick clouds that reflect the sunlight. You don't need to think about the intense heat or dense air that truly wraps that world. Tonight, Venus is simply a distant, veiled lantern, mysterious, quiet, and serene. Its clouds shine with a diffuse, creamy light, like silk illuminated from within. You drift by at a respectful distance, watching the planet turn slowly. From this vantage point, it feels less like a harsh world and more like a symbol of something tender and hidden. A reminder that some places are not meant to be approached directly, only admired from afar. Beside you, invisible but ever present, the pull of the sun keeps you gently tethered to this cosmic dance. You move outward, farther from the light, toward the familiar blue of home. Earth appears again, now slightly smaller, rotating in its slow, steady rhythm. You see the thin layer of atmosphere hugging it like a soft blanket stitched with colors. Faint blues and purples where the daylight thins into twilight. Deeper indigo where night rests over continents and seas. You notice how fragile it looks, how slender that delicate shell of air really is, and yet how bravely it holds everything you know. Cities and forests, oceans and deserts, laughter and tears, beginnings and endings. You might think for a moment of your own life there, somewhere on that glowing sphere. The streets you know, the people you care about, the countless small stories unfolding even as you drift up here in the quiet. But if the thought feels too sharp, too bright, you can let it soften. Let it become just a warm awareness that you come from a place that spins in light and darkness in perfect rhythm. Day following night, night following day, over and over, reliable, steady, kind. With another gentle breath, you drift onward past Earth and its pale companion, the moon. The moon hangs nearby, silent and familiar. You've seen it so many nights, perhaps through a window or above a road lit by sleepy street lamps. From here, its surface is a patchwork of soft grays and gentle shadows. Craters bloom like faint flowers, overlapping petals of stone shaped by time. There is no sound, no wind, only the quiet memory of impacts long since past. Their echoes faded into a silence so complete, it feels like a form of compassion. The moon keeps its slow watch over the earth, circling with patient loyalty. Each year, it drifts a tiny bit farther away, slipping outward at a pace so gentle you would never notice. Yet the bond remains, an ancient partnership between world and satellite, a quiet dance in which distance and closeness both have their roles. As you float between Earth and Moon, you might feel a soft recognition, as if you were passing between two old friends who have shared millions of nights together without ever needing to speak. Once more, you let your awareness sink back into your breath. In, a little calm. Out, a little weight. In, a sense of spaciousness. Out, a sense of release. If your mind wanders, that's all right. Let it wander through these scenes as if walking through a gallery of gentle paintings. There's nothing here that can harm you, nothing that asks you to hurry. Ahead, Mars waits, a small, rusty ember glowing faintly in the dark. As you draw closer, its color deepens from a distant spark to a quiet, reddish world. From this soft vantage point, Mars is not a frontier of struggle or hardship, but a serene desert, its vast plains dusted in shades of cinnamon and rose. Thin veils of cloud sometimes trace faint lines across its sky. Ancient riverbeds, long dry, carve soft marks across its surface, like the lines in an elderly hand that once held water and life and motion, and now simply rests. Polar caps, made of ice, gleam faintly at the top and bottom of the planet, reminders that even the most arid landscapes can hold secrets of cold, sleeping water. You pass by gently, as if walking past the doorway of a quiet room where someone is sleeping. You do not intrude. You simply acknowledge the stillness and continue on your way. If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, you might hear a soft voice inside you say, You can keep it close, like a small stone in your pocket. You don't have to share it now. You can simply let it warm your palm, a private glow beneath the larger, star-filled sky. Farther out, past Mars, the path begins to widen into a gentle, stony mist, the asteroid belt. Many imagine it as a crowded field of tumbling rocks, crashing and colliding. But from here, you see it differently. Space is mostly space, open, spacious, calm. The asteroids are scattered widely, drifting in slow orbits, like quiet boats spread across a vast, dark ocean. Some of these small worlds are solitary, moving alone through the dim light. Others have found companions. Gravity gathers them into pairs or small families that travel together, their paths entwined. Two stones bound softly to each other, spinning slowly as they move around the sun, partners in a journey that will last for ages. There is something deeply gentle in that image. Tiny worlds keeping each other company in the long night between planets. Here, among the drifting stones, your own thoughts may begin to float more quietly. Concerns that once pressed close seem to have more space around them now. They can spread out, grow softer at the edges, less sharp, less immediate. You are not ignoring them. You are simply giving them room to breathe. All the while, the sun shines from far behind you, a steady center you no longer need to look at directly. You are moving into the outer regions now, where distances grow large and time stretches thin, and yet everything still follows the same patient rhythm. Orbit after orbit, turn after turn, like the slow, soothing rocking of a cradle that never tires. You float onward, calm, unhurried, keeping pace with the planets in their endless, peaceful dance. You are held by gravity, but it feels less like a force and more like an embrace. You are carried by motion, but it feels less like travel and more like being gently rocked to sleep. Out here, in the quiet dark between worlds, you begin to understand that the universe is not only vast, it is also profoundly patient. And in its patience, it offers you permission to rest. You do not need to rush toward any destination. You are already inside the story. You are already part of the soft, turning music of the solar system. And as you drift, the journey continues, slowly, gently, one sleepy scene at a time. You drift now into a deeper stretch of space, where distances expand softly like ink spreading through water. Nothing rushes here. Everything stretches, lengthens, and breathes in slow motion. Even time feels different, less like a ticking clock and more like a long, unbroken sigh. Ahead of you lies Jupiter, the giant of our solar system. But tonight, it does not appear as a place of storms or roaring winds. From this calm and restful vantage point, Jupiter is simply a softly glowing sphere, striped in shades of amber, cream, and pale gold. Its swirling bands are not violent. They turn with the languid grace of paint drifting in a bowl of water. A faint haze rests across its vast face, tender as the breath of a sleeping creature. Even the great red spot, which has churned for centuries, seems muted and slow, like a fading memory of motion rather than a storm. As you drift closer, the immense presence of Jupiter does not intimidate you. Instead, it feels strangely comforting, like being near an ancient, gentle guardian. There's something steady and reassuring about its quiet rotation, its soft colors, its moonlit silhouette standing against the dark. Around it, Jupiter's moons glide like lanterns in a slow procession. Each one moves in its own patient loop, bound by a gravity that feels less like force and more like companionship. You pass softly by Io, where distant volcanic plumes rise like golden feathers against the black. Their glow is faint, a whisper of warmth in a world mostly silent. Then by Callisto, a deeply cratered moon mottled with subtle silvers and grays, like an old stone polished smooth by time. But Europa draws you in with its gentle beauty. You drift near its surface, which resembles a frozen lake under moonlight, smooth, pale, and etched with thin, reddish lines like threads of memory. Its ice reflects the faint sunlight in delicate shades of blue and pearl. And though silence covers it now, scientists believe that beneath this icy shell lies a vast ocean, deeper than any on Earth. Imagine it. A whole sea hidden beneath a ceiling of ice, slowly shifting, slowly breathing, untouched by storms or waves. Just a quiet, timeless ocean in the dark. A cradle of possibility. You don't need to understand the physics behind it tonight. You only need to sense the gentleness of the idea that even in a cold, far-off world, waters may be moving, warm currents may be flowing, and life may be resting in secret places where no light has ever fallen. For a moment, you float above Europa's tranquility, letting its stillness sink gently into you, as if the moon itself is whispering. Some things survive quietly, hidden but alive. When you drift onward, you do so with that softness still in your chest. Soon, the rings of Saturn begin to shimmer faintly in the distance. They appear first as a whisper of silver, then as a thin halo, and finally as a grand, luminous band stretching around the pale yellow world like a delicate scarf caught in a slow-motion breeze. The rings are astonishingly thin, so thin that from the exact right angle they nearly vanish, becoming only a faint shimmer of floating ice and dust. As you approach, you see that the rings are made of countless tiny pieces, bits of ancient moons and comets broken down into shimmering grains and crystals. Each fragment spins gently, reflecting light in its own quiet way. The rings look solid from afar, but up close they are spacious, airy, almost delicate. You drift through them without resistance. Particles of ice glint around you like sleepy fireflies drifting in a pale fog. Nothing touches you. Everything simply drifts, with you, around you, through you. Saturn itself hangs nearby, soft and serene. Its creamy bands flow gently across its surface, and its shadow lies cool and peaceful on the rings. From this angle, it looks like a paper lantern floating alone in a vast, dark sea. It becomes clear now that the universe, though immense, is not empty. It is full of quiet company. Moons, rings, drifting stones, sleeping seas, all moving in an unhurried rhythm. You drift outward again. Past Saturn, space grows quieter still. The sun's glow fades into a gentler, softer hue. Shadows deepen. Silence settles around you like a warm blanket. And then you see Uranus, a serene world of pale blue-green. It rotates on its side, like a sleeping giant curled under a soft blanket of methane clouds. Its rings, faint and subtle, form thin, delicate threads around it, so light that they seem embroidered into the darkness. There is something soothing about Uranus, something restful. Its color resembles calm ocean water under a cloudy sky. Its stillness invites you to pause, to breathe a little deeper. If you're feeling your thoughts slow down, a soft voice inside you murmurs, "That's perfectly all right." This is a place where slowness is natural, where slowness is the rule. As you drift closer, you remember one of the universe's soft secrets. Deep within Uranus and Neptune, immense pressure may turn carbon into diamonds. Tiny diamonds, falling like gentle rain. Can you imagine that? A quiet drizzle of shimmering crystals drifting downward through a world of ice-blue clouds. There's nothing explosive or dramatic about it, just a peaceful, slow fall of light within the deep, a cosmic lullaby of glittering drops. Neptune appears next, deeper, bluer, more mysterious. But tonight, Neptune is not a place of fierce winds or storms. Instead, it feels calm, its cerulean clouds swirling with an elegance that reminds you of ink blooming in water. The faint sunlight paints its surface in gentle gradients of navy, teal, and sapphire. You drift close enough to see the haze that gives Neptune its dreamy color. Thin layers of clouds move slowly, peacefully, like the slow breath of a sleeping world. A few dark spots appear, temporary shadows, softly forming and dissolving, like thoughts drifting in and out of consciousness just before someone falls asleep. Nearby floats Triton, Neptune's largest moon. Normally described as cold and active, with geysers that erupt into the thin air, tonight Triton feels quieter, like a softly glowing pearl. Its surface is smooth, frosted, calm. You glide past, its pale shimmer slipping behind you as gently as a curtain brushing your shoulder. Here, at the far edges of the solar system, you begin to feel the quiet deepen even further. The sun is small now, just another bright star among billions. Its light is soft, feathery, diffused. Its warmth is faint, like the memory of a candle that once burned near your hands. And from this quiet vantage point, something inside you loosens. A knot unties. A breath releases itself. A layer of tension slides away like snow melting under morning light. Far ahead, you see the dim glimmer of Pluto, a solitary world, gentle, remote, and yet not lonely. As you drift toward it, Pluto becomes a tiny, intricate snow globe of a planet. Its surface is a dance of soft pinks, creams, and icy blues. A heart-shaped region stretches across it, a pale, tender mark that feels like the universe leaving a quiet signature of affection. Pluto is cold, yes, but it is a tender cold, a contemplative cold, the kind that reminds you of winter mornings when the world is silent, untouched, waiting for its first footprint. You hover above that heart-shaped plane for a moment. The quiet around you becomes absolute. Your breath grows long, your body deeply relaxed. Even your thoughts feel cushioned, wrapped in layers of calm. Gravity is softer here. Time flows slower. Everything rests, and you rest with it. A voice in you whispers gently, "Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark." And with that warmth in your chest, you drift onward, deeper still into the quiet. You are drifting now in a region where the familiar planets lie behind you, and the sun has become a distant ember, faint and gentle. Here, the darkness is not empty. It feels almost like thick velvet, soft and cool, wrapping around you in a peaceful hush. Every movement, every shift of light feels slow, thoughtful, unhurried. In this stillness, your senses open wider, not in alertness, but in ease, a deep, restful ease. And it is in this softness that the universe begins to share its quiet secrets. Not loud, not startling, but subtle, like someone whispering a memory into your ear just before you fall asleep. You continue drifting outward, and the first discovery greets you like a small shimmer in the dark. Far behind Neptune and Pluto, scattered through the outer stretches of the solar system, lie countless icy bodies, tiny worlds of frozen rock and crystal. They move so slowly, so gently, that you might miss them if you weren't already floating in this quiet space where every detail seems to glow with its own delicate presence. One of these small worlds spins lazily beneath you now, its surface covered with frost that sparkles faintly in the dim sunlight. It is neither a planet nor a moon, just a wanderer. But in this stillness, its existence feels meaningful, like a forgotten pebble from childhood found at the bottom of a drawer. Small, yes, but strangely comforting. You drift past it, and a soft truth unfolds. Even the smallest things in the universe have a place. Even the quietest stories matter. As you continue drifting, something unusual forms in your vision. Not bright, not alarming, just different. A soft glow, shimmering faintly like a trail of dust illuminated by the beam of a distant flashlight. This is the far reach of the sun's influence. Particles of light, dust, ice, and mystery stretching outward into the interstellar dark. Here, you encounter your next soft discovery. Beyond Pluto, the solar wind slows and grows gentle. It doesn't vanish. It simply settles. As if even the energy of the sun knows when it is time to rest. This region is called the heliopause. Not a wall, not a barrier, but a boundary of hush. A place where the sun's breath meets the quiet breath of the galaxy. But tonight, you do not think of it in scientific terms. Tonight, you feel it, a soft transition, like stepping from a familiar room into a cool, calm hallway, where every sound becomes muffled. The space beyond the heliopause is not frightening. It is tender. Silent, open, a cradle of darkness where nothing rushes and nothing demands. As you float here, a gentle light flickers far ahead, a tiny, steady pulse, faint as a heartbeat under layers of blankets. At first you think it might be a star, but then you recognize it, a small spacecraft, no larger than a car, still drifting, still whispering to the distant sun it left behind decades ago. Voyager, the quiet ambassador of humanity. You drift toward it softly, without touching, just close enough to sense its presence. It moves through the dark, not with speed, but with sheer persistence, continuing on its path, carrying recordings of laughter, music, greetings in many languages, and a map of our place in the cosmos. It is not fast, it is not loud, it is simply steady. And in that steadiness, there is something profoundly comforting. You imagine the faint signals it sends home, little threads of connection traveling across unimaginable distances, saying, "I'm still here, I'm still moving." The journey continues. There is something beautifully human about that. Something soft, something very much like a heartbeat. You drift beside Voyager for a moment, watching the starlight slide across its golden record, dim but warm. The spacecraft does not speak, does not shine, does not command attention. It simply persists, like a quiet hope in the dark. As you leave it behind, a soft thought blooms inside you. Even in vast darkness, something small can keep going. Even the quietest traveler can carry light. You drift deeper into the interstellar wind, past invisible borders, into regions where the stars grow sharper and the darkness feels more spacious. Here, you notice another gentle curiosity. The stars around you do not twinkle. They shine with a steady, constant glow. Twinkling happens when starlight passes through the air of Earth. Out here, where the air is gone, starlight arrives pure, calm, unwavering, It feels almost like the stars are breathing slowly with you. In, their glow softens. Out, their glow steadies. You inhale gently. You exhale even more gently, and the stars breathe with you. Another shift appears ahead, not sharp but slow and silky, a soft band of darkness drifting across the star field. Not the absence of stars, but clouds of dust and cool gas, thin, delicate, drifting like smoke in water. You are seeing the arms of the galaxy from within, millions of tiny particles floating in great, expansive curls. In these clouds, new stars are born, very slowly, very quietly, not with explosions, but with the gradual gathering of light over enormous spans of time. You drift through this region, and the glow of young stars, soft blue, pale white, warm gold, filters through the dust in gentle rays. It looks like sunlight passing through curtains in a peaceful room on a late afternoon. You feel a warmth in your chest, a warmth that is not heat, but recognition. The universe is vast, yes, but not chaotic, not frightening, not hostile. It is patient, it is creative, it is full of soft beginnings. One of the stars ahead flickers just a little, barely noticeable, a subtle pulse. It is not dying, it is singing. You learn another soft truth. Stars hum. They vibrate at frequencies too low for human ears, turning their whole bodies into slow, resonant instruments. The sun, too, vibrates softly, like a great musical bowl gently struck by time. Tonight, you think of it not as science, but as song. The universe singing to itself, quietly, constantly, lovingly. You continue drifting, and the discoveries come more gently now, like feathers falling. You pass a small pair of icy worlds locked in a slow dance around each other, turning with perfect grace. They move as if sharing a secret known only to them. You drift through a region where the faintest grains of dust glow in infrared, heat from distant starlight warming them only enough to shimmer softly. You glide near a long, looping orbit traced by a comet, frozen and still in its slow journey toward the inner solar system and back. Its tail is only an idea now, not yet illuminated, but you can sense the promise of light it will someday carry. Each discovery is gentle. Nothing bursts, nothing startles. Everything unfolds in slow motion. You are drifting through the universe not as an explorer, but as a peaceful witness, someone allowed to see the soft poetry inside the science. And in this gentle seeing, another truth emerges inside you. Maybe the universe is not only a place of matter and motion. Maybe it is also a place of memory, of patience, of connections so delicate that they can only be felt when you are very quiet. Here, in this calm stretch of space, you can be quiet enough. If tonight's story reminds you of something, a childhood moment under the stars, a peaceful night long ago, or a simple memory of feeling held by the world, you can keep it close. You don't need to hold it tightly. Just let it rest beside you, like a warm light in the dark. Your journey continues, but now with a soft awareness that the universe is full of small miracles. Not dramatic ones, but quiet ones. The kind that ease the mind, loosen the heart, and help even the most tired soul feel a little more at peace. And with this new calm inside you, you drift onward, deeper into the soft night, deeper into the gentle rhythm of stars, deeper into the part of the universe where discovery feels like breath, simple and natural, where the next soft wonder waits quietly for you to arrive. Drifting deeper into this quiet ocean of night, you begin to notice something subtle, something that feels less like a scene and more like a shift inside yourself. The universe around you is immense, yes, but it is also patient. And in that patience, you begin to feel accompanied. The stars do not rush. The planets do not argue. Moons do not hurry through their orbits. Everything moves in slow, graceful rhythms. Rhythms so gentle that your own thoughts start aligning with them, settling into their long, steady breaths. You realize now, in this tender stretch of space, that nothing truly stands still. Even in silence, even in darkness, everything is moving. But the movement is soft, barely a whisper. It's the kind of motion you only notice when you're finally quiet enough. You drift with that awareness, letting it wrap around you like a thin blanket of starlight. The solar system itself, you feel, is drifting too, carried gently through the galaxy like a small boat gliding through morning mist. The sun leads this slow procession, towing every planet, moon, asteroid, and wanderer with it as it sails through a region of the Milky Way filled with tiny grains of interstellar dust. This dust is faint, nearly invisible, but together it forms a delicate fog, a galactic fog, not thick, not heavy. Just a soft presence that the solar system glides through with the serenity of a ship passing across quiet waters. If you listen inwardly, you can almost imagine the hush of that motion, the steady, unbroken drift of an entire family of worlds moving through the galaxy without making a sound. And you, floating here, are drifting with them. For a moment, you think back to your life on Earth, the schedules, the noise, the clocks, the constant sense of needing to be somewhere, to do something, to keep up. But out here, none of that feels urgent. None of it feels heavy. The universe is not in a hurry, and tonight, neither are you. Let your breath match the galaxy's breath. Slow, unforced, reliable. In. A little space opens inside your chest. Out. A little weight melts away. You drift through this star-filled quiet, and a soft realization begins to form. We measure our lives in years, or days, or hours. But the universe breathes in centuries, in millennia, in ages so long they feel like dreams. You are made of the same materials as stars, and yet you rush, you hurry, you strive. The stars do none of that. They glow, they hum, they simply abide. And in their presence, you begin to remember something tender. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to take up space gently. A cluster of pale stars passes near you now, their light soft and unsteady, like lanterns swaying in a distant breeze. Between them, wide stretches of darkness curve like trails in a sleeping forest. Every patch of night you see is full of potential. Tiny particles drifting, faint gases swirling, the seeds of future stars soothed into place by gravity. Gravity, you think, is not always a force that pulls harshly. Sometimes it's a companion, a subtle guide, a way for the universe to gather pieces of itself into gentle families. Gravity gathers companions in the cold. The truth of that feels almost like a poem. You picture two small, icy bodies drifting far from the sun, finding each other in the slow dark, bound not by noise or conflict, but by softness. By the quiet pull that brings things together rather than tearing them apart. Maybe people work that way too. Maybe the bonds we form, friendships, memories, moments of understanding, are formed in stillness, in the quiet spaces where we finally let ourselves be real. Your mind drifts softly through that thought, not clinging to it, just brushing against it like a leaf floating past the edge of a stream. Far ahead, a golden glimmer appears once more, the reflection of distant sunlight on Voyager's metallic surface. But now, from farther away, it looks like a firefly in a meadow of stars, a tiny spark, a small whisper of a world it left behind. Voyager continues on, beyond the sun's protective wind, into the deeper breath of the galaxy. A quiet ambassador, a patient messenger, carrying stories of home to places we will never see in our lifetimes. You drift alongside its trajectory for a moment, feeling something bittersweet. The universe is vast, and we are small. But small does not mean insignificant. Small can be tender. Small can be meaningful. Small can shine. You let that truth settle gently in your chest, and another thought rises. If a tiny spacecraft can drift through the silent dark for decades, still humming its soft signals, still carrying the music and greetings of humanity, then perhaps you too can carry your own light a little longer. Perhaps you too can drift through difficult moments with a quieter, steadier heart. Your attention moves outward again, toward the wider galaxy. The Milky Way curves around you in a vast, gentle arc, like a great river of light frozen in time. Billions of stars shimmer in soft colors: pale blue, warm gold, quiet red. Clouds of dust thread through them like brush strokes of shadow, giving depth to the luminous tapestry. It is impossible to take it all in, and you don't need to. Simply being here, simply drifting in the quiet presence of so many suns, is enough. Let the beauty wash over you without effort. Let it pass through you like warm wind. You do not need to hold it tightly. You do not need to understand it fully. You can just be with it. As you drift, you begin to feel the gentle companionship of the cosmos. You are surrounded by distant lights, ancient and patient, each one older than every memory on Earth. And yet, their glow does not feel cold. It feels steady, trustworthy, kind. A thought rises in the quiet. The universe does not ask you to be strong all the time. It only asks you to keep going, softly, honestly, in your own rhythm. You pass through another thin curtain of stardust, the particles drifting around you like snow under lamplight. They shine faintly in subtle colors: lavender, silver, pale gold, reflecting the light of nearby stars. The dust is so thin you could pass through millions of grains and never touch a single one. And yet, when you look back, you see how the light has changed. Warmer, gentler, softened by the dust you've drifted through. It reminds you that even the smallest things can shape the glow of a life. A kind word, a quiet night, a gentle story, a moment of rest. Your journey continues, but now you are moving not only through space, but inward, into a part of yourself that has been waiting patiently for a chance to breathe. Maybe it has been a long time since you felt truly unhurried. Maybe you've been carrying more than you realized. Maybe you've forgotten what it feels like to simply exist, without doing, fixing, or proving. Here, among these stars, you are reminded. You are enough in stillness. You are enough in quiet. You are enough simply by being. The galaxy sweeps around you in its slow, magnificent curve. And for a brief, luminous moment, you feel as though your own heart is orbiting too, moving in harmony with something bigger, deeper, older. The universe does not ask you to understand. It only asks you to rest, to drift, to soften, to breathe. And as you allow that softness to expand inside you, the journey gently leads you toward the next quiet wonder, waiting just ahead in the dark. The gentle drift carries you forward, not in a straight line, but in a slow, meandering arc, like a leaf tracing lazy circles on the surface of a calm pond. Ahead, the galaxy stretches wider, its arms unfurling like ribbons of light in the deep darkness. Yet, even as space expands, you feel yourself settling inward, as though every mile you travel outward helps you journey deeper into your own quiet center. There's no urgency in this movement, no destination you must reach, no story you must complete, only the soft invitation to continue resting inside the cradle of the night. As you float through this vast region of stars, you begin to sense the gentle pulse of the universe, not as sound, not as vibration, but as a kind of rhythm that moves through the dark like a quiet wave. Everything is part of it. The drifting planets, the faint dust, the distant suns, even you. Your breath sinks with that rhythm without effort. In. Your chest expands with a sensation of spaciousness. Out. Your body softens just a little more. There is peace in that simple motion. A peace older than language, older than memory. As you drift, a soft shimmer catches your attention. At first it seems like a distant cluster of stars, but as you approach, you see that it's something gentler. A thin sheet of interstellar dust drifting like a delicate veil across the star field. The dust is so fine that it's almost invisible, but the starlight behind it glows through the particles, turning them into soft strokes of silver and violet. You move through the dust without disturbing it. It parts for you effortlessly, closing again behind you in slow, elegant curls. The dust reminds you of something, a quiet snowfall at night, or a thin curtain moving in the slightest breeze, or the fine glitter of memories stirred gently by time. It is beautiful without being overwhelming. It is subtle without demanding attention. It is simply there. And its presence feels like a reminder. Not every part of life needs to shine brightly. Some things are meant to be soft, gentle, and half-hidden. Some truths are best felt, not seen. A soft glow appears to your right. Not a star, not a planet, but a large, faint sphere of light. You're approaching a nebula. But tonight, the nebula does not blaze with dramatic colors or swirling clouds. Instead, it appears muted, pastel, tender, as if someone took the intensity of creation and wrapped it in layers of calm. Pale blues melt into gentle pinks. Lavender fades into quiet gray. Wisps of gas stretch in slow curves, like brushstrokes from a painter who wasn't in any hurry. Nebulae are often described as star nurseries, places where new stars are born over millions of years. But tonight, you don't think about the science. Tonight, the nebula feels like a cradle, a soft bed for young light waiting to emerge, a sanctuary for brightness still gathering its courage. You drift near it, feeling something inside you loosen. The way tightly packed snow melts in the first warmth of spring. There is comfort in knowing that even stars begin gently. They do not explode into life. They gather themselves slowly, quietly, patiently. And maybe you too are allowed to grow at your own pace. Maybe you too can take time to become who you're meant to be. As you drift onward, the nebula fades behind you like a beautiful dream that doesn't need to be held tightly. Its colors soften into a distant blur, leaving in their place a feeling of warmth. Ahead, a trio of stars forms a sleepy triangle, each one glowing in its own soft shade. One is pale gold, one is icy blue, one is a warm, flickering orange. They remind you of candles placed on a windowsill. Different flames, same gentle glow. Their light reaches you across unimaginable distances, yet it arrives with the softness of a touch on the shoulder. You pass between them, and as their light moves across your face, you feel a memory stir. Not a sharp memory, nothing painful or demanding, just a soft one. Perhaps of a night long ago when you stepped outside and looked up at the sky, maybe without meaning to. Maybe you felt small. Maybe you felt held. Maybe you simply breathed a little easier for a moment without understanding why. Let that memory drift through you like a warm breeze. You don't need to cling to it. Just let it be part of the story, part of the quiet unfolding inside you. You move on, and the darkness deepens. But it's not a cold darkness. It's gentle, like the darkness beneath a blanket or in a room where someone has just turned off the lamp. In that darkness, another soft truth emerges. Perhaps the reason the night sky feels comforting is because it listens. It absorbs your thoughts without judgment. It holds your worries without reacting. It gives you space. Space to feel, space to breathe, space to rest. You drift slowly along that thought, feeling it settle like a feather in the quiet corners of your mind. Far ahead, a faint glimmer streaks across your vision, a comet. Its tail stretches behind it in a thin ribbon of light, pale as moonlit mist. But unlike the comets of movies or dramatic stories, this one moves slowly, gracefully. Its light is gentle, shimmering like a sigh the universe forgot to finish. As you drift closer, you see the ice at its core, sparkling in the dim blue light of distant stars. It carries ancient dust, old as the solar system itself, tiny grains that have traveled in silence for billions of years. You pass by the comet, and for a moment, your paths run parallel. Two quiet travelers moving through the night. Two beings shaped by time and distance. Two wanderers that exist not because of speed or noise, but because of endurance. Eventually, the comet arcs away on its long, looping path. You watch it drift into the dark, its tail fading like a long exhale. You too continue on your own arc. Slow, peaceful, unbroken. A soft thought rises. All journeys are long, but some are meant to be restful. Some are meant to heal. You drift onward, and the galaxy grows quieter, almost impossibly peaceful. You feel as though you've entered a room where the universe keeps its oldest memories, a place where light moves slowly and shadows sleep. And in that room, a final gentle reflection arrives. Maybe you have been moving too fast lately. Maybe you have been carrying more than your share. Maybe you have forgotten how to pause. Not because you are weak, but because the world asks so much of you. But here, among sleeping stars, you are reminded. Stillness is not idleness. Rest is not failure. Quiet is not emptiness. It is renewal. It is healing. It is the space where you come back to yourself. Let that settle inside you. Let it soften you. Let it remind you that even planets spin slowly, even stars hum gently, even galaxies drift through space with patience carved into their bones. And you are part of that same cosmic rhythm. You drift onward, glowing a little softer, breathing a little deeper, resting a little more fully. The next part of your journey awaits. It waits without rushing you. It waits like dawn behind a distant horizon, patient and kind. When you are ready, you'll continue. For now, just float. Just breathe. Just be held by the quiet turning of the stars. You drift now toward a place where the quiet of the universe feels even deeper, as though you're entering a grand hall built entirely of silence and starlight. Nothing sharp exists here. No edges, no urgency, no demands. Just a long, serene exhale stretched across the sky. This is the place in the journey where something subtle begins to open. Not like a door flung wide, but like a blossom unfolding in the cool evening air. Slow, patient, effortless. You don't feel it at first. It begins softly, almost imperceptibly, like warmth slowly returning to chilled hands. A small shift inside you, a loosening. The kind of shift that happens when you finally accept, deep down, not in your mind, but in your bones, that you are safe enough to let go. Ahead, the galaxy spreads into a quiet meadow of light. Clusters of stars form sweeping arcs, soft as brushstrokes on a canvas. Their glow doesn't blind, it comforts, bathing you in muted golds and blues that feel like warm breath against your skin. And then you notice it, a gentle stirring. A change not in the stars, but in yourself. It comes like a whisper. Something is unfolding. You don't know what yet, but you feel it. A small, tender shift. You drift toward a region where faint filaments of starlight thread between clusters. Long strands of illumination, like the softest silk, stretching across unimaginable distances. They look like cosmic pathways, glowing faintly in the darkness. Each filament feels like a thread of connection, hinting that everything in the universe is quietly linked. And perhaps, so are you. As you float among these glowing threads, you sense something ancient and familiar. The universe isn't a cold, disconnected place. It's a vast, breathing tapestry. A place where every point of light tugs gently on another. Even you, floating alone in this endless space, are held in a web of quiet gravity. Soft connections that hum beneath the surface of everything. You move through a cluster of young stars, their light gentle and new, still wrapped in thin swaddles of dust. They glow like small lanterns in a nursery of cosmic dawn. Their light is soft, uncertain, beautiful. You drift slowly through them, like someone wandering through a garden in the first moments of morning. Each star feels like a small heartbeat, steady, soft, alive. In this place, you find the twist, not a sharp revelation, not a dramatic discovery, but a soft opening of understanding. You begin to see. The universe is not merely a vast collection of objects. It is a story of connection. Each star you pass was born from dust that once drifted freely. Each planet began as scattered pieces that slowly gathered themselves together. Even the smallest comet carries a trail of ancient particles. Tiny grains that have traveled through the solar system's history like beads on a thread. Every part of the cosmos is connected by time, by motion, by gravity, by memory. And so are you. As you float deeper into this region, your thoughts begin to soften. Water drifting, leaves falling, light bending around corners. Your mind begins to understand something gentle. Perhaps the ache you sometimes feel, the loneliness, the longing, the quiet weight you carry, comes not from being separate from the universe, but from forgetting that you belong to it. Here, drifting among stars that have been glowing since long before humans had words, you feel that belonging return. You breathe it in quietly. You let it settle into you. You allow it to unfurl. Ahead, a soft glow expands into view, an enormous, dim halo of starlight surrounding a cluster at the galaxy's heart. This is no harsh core. Tonight it appears as a warm bowl of brightness filled with stars that shimmer like drowsy fireflies. You drift toward it, drawn not by force but by a feeling of familiarity, as though part of you remembers this place in a way that transcends memory. A recognition deeper than thought. As you near the glowing cluster, you begin to feel something like warmth spreading through the dark. Not heat, but comfort. The warmth of being near something ancient, steady, and kind. A soft voice inside you murmurs, "You are not alone here." And you understand. It's not the stars speaking, it's your own quiet self, the part of you that knows peace, that remembers tenderness, that holds your fragile moments with gentle hands. You drift deeper into the warm glow. Here, the starlight feels like a presence, like being wrapped in a shawl of radiance. It does not overwhelm you. It surrounds you with patience. In this glow, you begin to notice things about yourself. Quiet truths that float upward, slow and gentle. Maybe you've been carrying thoughts that felt too heavy. Maybe you've been walking with a tired heart. Maybe you've been moving so fast that you forgot what softness feels like. But here, floating in the luminous quiet, you begin to feel something shifting inside you, not fixing, not forcing, just softening, like muscle unwinding, like morning light dissolving fog, like ice melting in warm hands. You drift through the cluster's soft glow until you reach a place where light thickens, as though the stars are gathering closer. And here, a quiet insight rises. The universe is made of old things that learned how to shine. And so are you. All the struggles, the scars, the moments of doubt, the years you've carried, they are not signs of brokenness. They are the materials from which your inner light has been forming, slowly, quietly, gently. You drift, held in that idea, until it expands inside you like a small dawn. Then, in the stillness, something beautiful appears. A gentle ripple of light moves across the cluster, like sunlight passing through water. It glides through the stars, illuminating them with a soft shimmer. As it reaches you, it feels like a warm breeze, light, embracing, peaceful. The moment is small, barely noticeable, and yet profoundly tender. This is the soft climax of your journey, a moment where the universe offers you not a fact, not a spectacle, but a feeling. You are part of something ancient and gentle. You belong to the quiet turning of the cosmos. Your heart, no matter how tired, still shines. This realization doesn't shout, it whispers. And that whisper settles into you like a warm glow beneath your ribs. You linger here, suspended in light, letting the feeling spread through you, a slow, steady bloom of calm. Your breath grows deeper without trying. Your shoulders soften. Your mind quiets. Something inside you unclenches. You feel the soft ripple of starlight pass through you one more time, brushing away the last remnants of tension, like a gentle hand smoothing fabric. And then, slowly, gently, the cluster begins to fade behind you. Its warm glow becomes distant. Its shimmer becomes memory. But the peace it gave you remains. You drift onward, carrying a softness that wasn't there before, a tenderness growing inside you, a quiet certainty that even in the vastness of the universe you are held. The journey moves toward its closing arc now. the place where rest deepens and dreams begin to rise like quiet planets at the edge of dawn. You drift onward from the soft glow of the stellar cluster, carrying the warmth it left in your chest like a quiet ember. The path ahead feels different now, not because the stars have changed, but because you have. Something has softened inside you. Something has opened. And now the universe seems to meet you with an even deeper calm. The darkness ahead is velvety and wide, but not empty. It feels like a room prepared just for you, a chamber of stillness where thoughts become lighter and breaths grow slower. The stars scatter themselves more sparsely here, each one shining with a steadiness that mirrors the steadiness beginning to settle into your own body. This is the part of the journey where the outside world fades into a soft blur, and what remains is a quiet hum of inner reflection. A hum that grows gentler with each passing moment. You drift through a region where starlight seems dimmer, as though the universe itself is turning down its lamps so your mind can rest. Behind you, the bright cluster glimmers faintly, now a distant memory of warmth. Ahead, the darkness stretches like a soft, endless hallway filled with the deepest kind of peace. Every movement feels slower now. Every thought feels quieter. Every breath feels more like a release. You pause, not in your drifting, but in your awareness, and let the stillness settle around you. It feels like floating inside a deep lake at night, held by water that knows exactly how to cradle you. And then gently, the universe offers you another quiet truth. Not all journeys move forward. Some journeys take you inward. Some lead you home to yourself. As you continue drifting, a faint glow forms at the edge of your vision, soft, pale, almost transparent. It looks like a thin aurora, a delicate ribbon of light stretching across the dark. You drift toward it without intent, carried by the same invisible current that has guided you since you left the orbit of Earth. When you enter the ribbon, the world changes subtly. The light around you thickens, wrapping you in a dreamy haze. It feels like walking through morning fog, the kind that softens every sound and turns every shape into something gentle. In this haze, your thoughts move slowly, as though wrapped in cotton, but you don't resist. You let yourself slow with them. You let yourself drift. A memory rises, not sharp, not heavy, just a soft echo from long ago. Perhaps it is a memory of sitting on a porch during a quiet summer night, or lying in bed as a child, listening to the hum of a fan and the distant chorus of crickets, or standing at a window while rain tapped softly against the glass. A memory of stillness, of safety, of simply being. You don't hold on to it. You don't need to. It drifts through you like a gentle wave, and then settles quietly at the edges of your mind. Ahead of you, the ribbon of light curves downward, like a river flowing through space. You follow its path effortlessly, drifting along its luminous stream. The ribbon leads you toward a shape that slowly comes into view, a cluster of tiny stars arranged in a loose spiral. They glow with a warmth that feels familiar, almost nostalgic. Something about their arrangement reminds you of home. Not a physical place, but a feeling. You drift closer. The stars in this spiral twinkle in slow pulses, like breathing. In. Their light grows just a touch brighter. Out. Their glow softens into a gentle dim. The universe is breathing with you. You realize in this moment that much of what surrounds you moves in the same quiet rhythm you've been feeling all along. You are not imposing your calm on the universe. You are aligning with the calm that has always been here. The spiral grows larger as you near it, and you find yourself drifting through its arms. Thin lines of dust and gas weave between the stars like strands of silk, softening their glow. You glide through these silvery threads, and they curl gently around you, as though welcoming you into the spiral. Within this cosmic embrace, the soft reflection continues. You begin to understand that life, much like the universe, unfolds in slow spirals. Moments return, not the same, but familiar. Feelings rise and fall. Memories drift in and out. Growth happens quietly, invisibly, like a star gathering itself in the dark. Perhaps you've judged yourself too harshly for not moving fast enough, for not accomplishing enough, for not being enough. But here, inside this soft spiral of light, you see the truth. You were never meant to race. You were meant to unfold, slowly, gently, in your own time. The spiral's center glows with a warm light, not intense but steady, like a hearth at the center of a quiet home. As you drift nearer, you feel its warmth spreading over you, loosening the last bits of tension you didn't realize you were holding. You pause here, letting that warmth settle into your breath. In, calm gathers. Out, calm returns. You drift in a soft circle around the spiral's heart, not rushed, not pushed, simply carried by a current that knows your pace. The warmth seems to whisper, "You are enough." Even when you are still, you are enough. Even when you rest. You let the words dissolve into you, adding a little weight to your calm, like a blanket settling over your shoulders. Eventually, the spiral begins to fade behind you. Not suddenly. Nothing in this journey is sudden, but in a gradual, dreamlike way, its light dimming until it becomes only a faint glow in the distance. Ahead, the dark stretches open again, but now it feels even softer, as though the universe has laid down new layers of quiet just for you. You drift into that darkness with a heart that feels less burdened, less crowded, less tangled. The worry that once hummed at the edges of your awareness has softened into something quieter, lighter, easier to hold. Your breath has deepened without your noticing. Your body feels heavier in a comfortable way. Your mind feels quieter, like a room where the last candle has burned down to a warm glow. And then, in the far distance, you see something small and golden. Not a star, not a planet, but a reflection. A reflection of home, the sun. It looks tiny from here, just another point of light, but its familiarity stirs something soft in your chest. Not urgency, not longing, just recognition. A gentle reminder of where you began. As you drift closer, the sun grows slowly, becoming a warm presence in the distance. Not bright enough to disturb you, but bright enough to guide you gently back toward the inner worlds. You are not returning to noise or stress or hurry. You are returning with the softness you've gathered, with a heart that feels calmer, with a breath that moves more easily, with a mind that knows how to soften. Gravity begins to stroke you again, not pulling, just reminding. A soft invitation. You're beginning the slow return, the gentle descent toward deeper rest, toward the part of this journey where sleep waits like a quiet shore. The universe gathers around you, offering one last thought as you drift into the warm glow ahead. You are held by the same forces that guide the stars. You are part of the same quiet rhythm. You are allowed to rest. And with that truth settling inside you like a warm hand over your heart, your journey continues toward the peaceful closing arc, waiting just beyond the dimming stars. You drift now along a gentle arc that curves back toward the inner solar system, though back no longer feels like a return to weight or noise or urgency. Instead, it feels like gliding toward a quiet shore after a long, soothing journey across calm waters. The universe guides you with a tenderness you hadn't expected, like a friend placing a warm hand on your back, steady and encouraging. The sun, still a distant ember, glows with a sleepy warmth. It no longer burns brightly. It flickers like a lantern guiding you through the last steps of your journey. You move toward it at the same unhurried pace, feeling the calm thicken around you. With each breath, your body feels heavier, in a comforting way, as if settling into soft sand. Your awareness drifts in slow waves. Sometimes you are fully here, floating among the stars. Sometimes you are half dreaming, drifting between worlds. Sometimes you feel yourself sinking into the deeper layers of rest that have been waiting for you. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. You are exactly where you need to be. As you float closer, a familiar scene appears ahead, a thin crescent of a planet, lit softly by reflected sunlight. It's Earth's neighbor, Venus, veiled in clouds that glow with a diffuse, pearly light. But from here, the planet looks different than it did earlier in your journey. Now, Venus appears gentler, more subdued. Its clouds look like smooth layers of ivory silk, drifting slow and quiet, as though wrapped around a sleeping figure. You drift past without needing to observe or analyze. This isn't a moment of learning. It's a moment of passing by a peaceful landmark on your way home. As Venus fades behind you, Earth begins to emerge. At first, it's only a dim shimmer, then a pale, delicate blue, then a glowing sphere turning slowly in the dark. The sight of Earth brings a warmth into your chest. Not loud, not emotional, but soft and steady, like the warmth of holding a mug of tea between gentle hands. The planet rotates beneath you as though breathing in its own rhythm. Clouds swirl quietly over oceans. Lights twinkle faintly on the night side like tiny lanterns strung across a sleeping landscape. The soft curve of the planet invites you closer. You drift around its outer atmosphere, where thin ribbons of air catch the sunlight and shimmer in violet and turquoise. This is the boundary between space and home. A delicate membrane of brightness, thin as the skin of a bubble strong enough to cradle every life beneath it. You hover just above this luminous veil, and something inside you relaxes even more deeply. This is the place where silence meets familiarity, where cosmic calm touches the edges of human warmth, where the vastness of the universe narrows into a quiet landing place. From here, Earth looks kinder than you remembered, softer, more forgiving, as though every mountain, every sea, every winding road is offering you rest. You drift slowly along the planet's curve, watching dawn stretch across its surface. A thin line of gold unfurls over the horizon, painting the atmosphere in soft layers of peach, rose, and pale blue. It's a gentle sunrise, one meant not to wake you, but to soothe you. The light spreads slowly, patiently, like someone opening a curtain without letting in too much brightness. You watch as entire continents are bathed in this growing calm, as night retreats in slow, peaceful steps. This is your soft landing, not a return to noise, but a return to gentleness. You drift a little closer, nearing the upper layers of the atmosphere. Here, the air is too thin to breathe, but thick enough to cradle you with the memory of warmth. You float as lightly as a feather caught in a warm breeze. You begin to descend, not falling, not rushing, just drifting, guided by the same patient gravity that has carried you through the cosmos. Below, the blue of the ocean stretches like a sheet of silk. Clouds swirl in patterns as soft as brushstrokes. Forests lie like deep green cushions. Cities glow like embers beneath blankets of mist. Everything looks calm from up here. Everything looks gentle. Everything looks like a place you can rest. As you drift through the upper air, your senses soften further. The world around you grows quieter, dimmer, less defined. You're not losing awareness. You're letting go of the sharp edges. Shapes blur, colors blend, thoughts loosen, breath deepens. You've reached the threshold between wakefulness and dreams. You hover here, suspended between worlds, between earth and sky, between consciousness and rest, between the vast universe above you and the quiet body waiting below. You feel the pull of sleep, not a tug, but an invitation. You let yourself drift deeper, softly downward, like a leaf falling through warm air, like a petal gliding onto calm water, like stardust settling into a quiet corner of the world. And slowly, the stars begin to blur above you, not because they fade, but because your eyes and your mind are growing heavier, softer, sleepier. You drift into the lower atmosphere, where air thickens into a gentle embrace. You feel warmth wrapping around you, not physical warmth, but the warmth of being held, the warmth of belonging, the warmth of a world ready to welcome you back. A soft voice inside you whispers, "You are safe here. You are home." The drifting becomes slower. Your awareness dims further. The world softens into a luminous haze. Clouds move below you, white and plush. You float just above them, as if resting on a bed of down. A final reflection rises at the quiet. You are part of a universe that moves in slow, patient rhythms. You can move in slow rhythms too. You can rest. You can sleep. You can be gentle with yourself. The glow of Earth's morning light washes over you like warm water. Your breath softens. Your mind loosens. Your body feels as though it's sinking into the softest mattress. You drift toward the surface, toward the familiar world. But the calm of the cosmos drifts with you. It settles into your bones. It stays in your breath. It holds your heart like a quiet tide. You're almost there now, almost at the quiet shore where dreams begin. Let your breath slow. Let your thoughts soften. Let yourself be carried by the last gentle currents of this star-filled night. Sleep is close. Very close. It waits for you like a warm light behind a half-open door. And you are drifting peacefully toward it. You drift now in the final stretch of your journey, the place where the air is warm, the light is dim, and everything, absolutely everything, invites you to rest. The long path through the solar system, across the outer darkness, into the heart of the galaxy, and back again has brought you here, to the quiet edge of dreams. You hover gently above the soft curve of the earth, wrapped in a blanket of twilight. The sun has dipped behind the planet's rim, leaving only a tender halo of fading gold. Below you, the first warm lights of evening glow in small constellations across cities and towns, tiny sparks mirroring the stars that watched over you just moments ago. You inhale softly, a long, slow breath that fills your chest with warmth. You exhale even more slowly, letting your whole body surrender a little further. This is the moment where the story loosens, where the universe whispers its good night, where every sound begins to drift away. You begin your final descent, sinking through layers of soft, cooling air. Not falling, drifting, like a feather settling on a quiet windowsill, like mist sinking toward a still lake, like the last leaf of autumn spiraling toward rest. The clouds rise to meet you, pillows of white and amber, gentle mountains of vapor. You glide between them, passing through their soft shadows and warm highlights. You feel lighter now, so light that even gravity feels like a friend guiding you home, hand on your back, patient and kind. And as you drift, the last reflections of your cosmic journey unfurl inside you, like petals opening in slow motion. You have been to the quiet edge of the solar system. You have drifted among distant stars. You have seen the universe breathe, and now you are coming home. But you're not returning as the same person you were when the journey began. Something inside you has softened. Your breath, your thoughts, your heartbeat, your sense of what it means to rest. You carry the quiet of distant nebulae in your chest. You carry the steadiness of planetary orbits in your mind. You carry the softness of starlight in your breath. There is no rush now. There is only the slow, gentle unfurling of peace. Clouds thin around you, parting like curtains drawn by invisible hands. Below, your sleeping world appears. The dark of forests, the silver of lakes, the soft glow of homes resting beneath the night sky. And somewhere in that darkness, somewhere quiet and warm, your own body lies waiting, still, safe, ready to welcome you back. You float down through the last breath of evening air until your awareness begins to settle into the familiar shape of your resting self. You feel your body again, not sharply, but kindly. The weight of your arms, the softness beneath your spine, the warmth gathered around you, the steady rhythm of your breath. You enter your body the way a slow tide returns to shore, softly, calmly, without disturbing a single grain of sand. As you settle in, the memories of your journey become soft impressions, a shimmering ring of Saturn, a quiet moon of ice, a pale comet gliding through the dark, a cluster of stars humming like distant chimes. They are no longer things you must picture clearly. They are feelings now: warmth, spaciousness, silence, belonging. Your breath grows even slower, even quieter, even deeper, and with each exhale, the boundary between thought and dream begins to dissolve. Your body feels heavier with every breath, a pleasant, secure heaviness, as if the bed beneath you has grown warmer and the blankets around you have grown softer and your bones themselves are exhaling. Your eyelids, already closed, feel as if they've drifted deeper into darkness. Your jaw relaxes, your shoulders melt downward, your hands loosen, your legs sink. There's no effort now, only release. Let your breath fall into a rhythm like waves against a quiet shore. In, a soft swell of calm. Out, the wave withdrawing, smooth and unbroken. In, gentle. Out, gentler still. The world around you dims further. Sounds soften into a distant hum. thoughts slow into half-formed shapes. The story becomes a warm blur. The universe, too, grows dim. The stars take one last breath of light, and then they rest. A final whisper drifts through your mind. The universe will still be here in the morning. Quiet, patient, kind. You can rest now. Your body loosens further. The edges of your awareness soften. You're drifting like you did in the long corridors of space, but now through the soft corridors of your own dreaming mind. If a thought tries to rise, it dissolves before reaching the surface, slipping gently into the warm ocean of sleep forming beneath you. You are no longer listening to the story. You are floating inside it, held by it, rocked by it. Let yourself sink, a little deeper, and deeper still. There is nothing left to do, nothing to solve, nothing to hold. You are safe. You are warm. You are home. If tonight's journey brought you calm, you can leave a gentle comment for yourself. Your words, soft, simple, become lanterns for others drifting through the dark. And if any moment of this story reminded you of a memory, a peaceful night, a quiet sky, a time when you felt held, you may share it when morning comes. If not, you may simply carry that memory within you, like a quiet star glowing behind your ribs. Remember, here, no one rests alone. Here, every story is a soft lantern in the night. Here, you are always welcome. Your breath deepens again, your chest rising and falling in slow, sleepy arcs. Your thoughts soften into nothing more than mist. The world narrows into warmth and darkness. Sleep draws near, close enough to touch, close enough to gather you into its soft embrace. Let it take you. Let yourself rest. Let yourself drift. And as you sink into the deepest part of night, know that you are held by the quiet of the universe, by the rhythm of your breath, and by the gentle story that carried you here. Good night, traveler. May your dreams be soft. May your rest be deep. May your heart be light. And when morning comes, may you wake with a little more calm than you had before. Don't forget to subscribe for more peaceful nighttime journeys. We'll drift together again soon. For now, sleep deeply, quietly, beautifully.